Mr. Elijah, this is the 22nd of October, 2013, 12:24 in the morning. I have to feed you in another 36 minutes, so that's why I'm up with you. Your mom is sleeping. Um, as I indicated to you before, all of these tapes are basically um, my only, my legacy to you. I'm not rich, unfortunately. I don't have all types of what I can bestow upon you is limited, but I can leave a legacy of knowledge and allow you to learn from the mistakes I've made. I definitely don't want you to repeat them. Um, so I'm focusing obviously. The Robert Greene book is very, very important. Those lessons I want you to take to heart, particularly the ones I obviously am not reading from cover to cover, so I won't have time to read all of it to you. I think that you should um, read it in its entirety, and as well as a number of other books. I have, yeah, but that's not the only. I don't want you to ascribe to the philosophies in any one book. I want you to have an overall um, preparation for a world, not just what you learn in schools. Of course, that's necessary, but an overall philosophy of just knowledge, preparedness, um, and being squared away. I want you to be a squared away individual so that the world literally is your oyster and that you'll have more options. Always remember, the more options you have in life, the happier your life will be, the more powerful you'll be, the more successful you'll be. Uh, Without options, like the transients on the street, they don't have options. They're miserable. They don't have any. Okay, so it's directly related happiness, success, accomplishment to the options you have. So all of that. Now, this is something I prepared for you. I wrote it in this book. I'll leave it for you. It'll be in my possessions. It's yours. It belongs to you. But a number of these, I'm going to read. But I did fill out quite a bit of it in order to accentuate what's there. Okay. Um, Lesson number one, and these are numbered by me in no particular order because I don't have them. I don't have a computer copy, but trust me, if they're if I've written it here, that means it's important enough for you to take to heart and not forget. Okay, so lesson one: never commit a crime. At 21, I had completed ROTC Army Advance Camp, received my first choice of military intelligence as the branch I was assigned to, and had only to walk on stage to receive my commission as a second lieutenant in the United States Army. My GPA was a respectable 3.3. I had everything. And then I committed a stupid, senseless, insanely idiotic crime: identity theft and check forgery, which I thought I was smart enough to get away with. Well, I wasn't, and I didn't. I celebrated my 22nd birthday in the Nevada State Prison system. It was the single worst mistake of my life. And every single day afterwards, for the next 23 years of my life, I was tangibly reminded of that action. My father made a similar mistake in his 20s, resulting in him being branded with a felony. He was so ashamed of what he did that he never told me of it until, that is, I had earned a scarlet letter F of my own. I can't help but think, how would my life have been if he had emphatically shared with me his shame? Might I not have heeded his counsel and endeavored not to repeat the sins of my father? Please, son, don't let the state brand you in any such way. It will adversely affect your job, relationships, and personal sense of self worth. It will infantilize you and make you dependent upon others. It will turn you into a liar as you do anything and everything to conceal your shame. It will destroy you as it has ultimately destroyed me, frankly, denying me the ability to hold my only son in my arms and tell him how much I love him. Now, as an aside, I wrote this at the end of June when I received some horribly bad news. I cannot tell you how happy I am to have witnessed you be here, hold you in my arms. This is beyond my wildest dream. I honestly didn't think this day would come. Nonetheless, this doesn't negate the basic premises of what I wrote in June. How many months ago? Uh, July, August, September. 3.5 months ago. It's still the basic premise of what I'm writing to you is true. Um, I don't care what reason you could possibly have to even consider such a thing, but you must at all costs find another solution. Any theft, a piece of bubble gum, or something of far more value, it's all wrong, and never even associate with those who do. Have a reputation of scrupulous honesty, and everything is possible. Have a besmirched reputation, and you will begin a life of ruin. Um, and I read a section, value or guard your respect with your life, or guard your reputation, from Robert Greene's book, 48 Essential Laws of Power. It's so important. It's so vitally, absolutely important. Um, I'm a salesman. I'm a decent salesman, sometimes better than others. Um, but the fact of the matter is, I didn't choose this as my life avocation. I'm doing this only because my options are extraordinarily limited. When you have a felony, you can't do anything. I mean, you really can't. 99% of the jobs out there you can't get. It closes you off from having certain apartments, from getting the women. And I've lucked out. I really have. I've met your mother, and I had to lie to get her, frankly. If I told her the truth, she wouldn't be with me, and you wouldn't be here. Um, my father was the same way with his felony. Don't put yourself in a situation where you're branded and you're prevented from doing what I have a degree. I have a degree from the University of Nevada, Reno. But good luck doing anything with it with a felony. I mean, it turned into a waste of time. So I cannot tell you how much this has screwed me over every single day. I made that mistake in 1989, and it's 2013. That was 14 years, 24 years ago, and I'm still paying for it. It's horrible. Do not. I don't care how difficult the times are. I don't care how much you need money. I don't care what the situation is. Do not commit a crime. Do not commit a felony. Do not allow this to happen to you. Happened to my father. Happened to your grandfather. Happened to me, your father. Do not allow it to happen to you. Really. It is. I've attempted suicide before. Fortunately, I was unsuccessful. Otherwise, you wouldn't have been here. But the fact of the matter is, that's how despondent I'm coalescing on it. I'm spending a lot of time discussing it because it's that important. Okay, politics. I love politics. I'm smart enough to get in politics and succeed. I'm a great public speaker, but not with felony. I'm not. I'm not. It's not going to happen. I want the world for you. I want you to be successful. I want you to do many great things, and you cannot do it unless you guard your reputation. You have to be cleaner than everyone else. You have to be better. You have to be more wholesome. You have to be more squared away. Do not allow this to happen to you. I cannot say again, I will be so massively disappointed if you allow it. My father hid his situation, hid his indiscretion, youthful indiscretion from me, and the consequence was in my case fatal. I'm not hiding it from you, so you have no excuse. Okay, do not allow this to happen to you. Listen to me. Understand me. Do not. Okay. Number two, respect money and live within your means. I can think of no other aspect of your life which is as determinative of your ultimate success in life as this one. I have zero respect for money, and as a result, my credit is so incredibly horrendous that I can't finance a pack of chewing gum. In this respect, I urge you to listen to your mother. She is infinitely more accomplished than I in this regard. Unfortunately, I was never taught the importance of money management. In fact, I was well into my 20s before I had any clue what a credit score was. Don't make this mistake, son. There's a good book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, by Robert Kiyosaki. Read it and live it. Number three, don't gamble. Just don't. Have fun other ways. Gambling will cause you far more problems than it will ever solve. It's just massively not worth it. Number four, don't smoke or drink. These are bad habits I never picked up, and I have a number of them. Don't you start them either. Your body is a temple, and I provided you with Adonis DNA, quite frankly. You have all the genetic material and physiology to be an Olympian. Smoking and drinking will take that away from you. And for what? There's absolutely no benefit to doing it, but myriad reasons not to. Please don't go down that path. I have a marathon in a month. Hopefully, I'll be, around free to run it. Um, and I'll be able to do it. I'm 45. Okay, I'm 45 years old. This will be my 7th marathon. That's one of the singular accomplishments of my life. Obviously, the first and most important was you, but beyond that, yeah, definitely. That's how healthy I am. You have that within you, son. You have the ability within you to accomplish that. But you can't do it if you destroy your body, and you will destroy your body if you smoke and drink. There's no excuse for it. Don't do it. It's hedonistic indulgence, inherently weak. Okay. Always strive to be the best you can be. It doesn't matter what you choose to do. Always go for the number one spot. Typically, the desire, coupled with a modicum of work, will ensure that you achieve such. The secret to most of life, in fact, is just to show up. When you just show up and strive for excellence, also, you're light years ahead of everyone else. As a child, your job is to learn what you are taught in school. Elementary, junior high, and high school are pathetically easy. At the time, it may seem difficult, but compared to the difficulties you will have to endure later in life, school is simple. Upon reflection, the happiest, simplest times of my life were when I was in school, without any job responsibility other than to learn. Thus, there is absolutely no excuse whatsoever for you not to have a 3.8 or higher in school. None. And in fact, you should have a 4.0, but I'll give you a 0.2% deviation. There are simply too many tools available to you for you to not accomplish such a simple objective. And the thing about it is that this will make everything else in your life so incredibly easy. Earning a 3.8 or better in high school will earn you a scholarship to a good college. And by good, I mean Harvard, Yale, etc., Stanford, MIT, which will determine the job you'll get later on, which will affect the wife you can get, and the children you can have, and so on. All of these are building blocks which are stacked one upon another. Everything, lesson 6. Everything matters. This is somewhat of an exaggeration, but not really. When I look back upon my life, I see that all of it matters, from the smallest, seemingly most insignificant decisions to the largest, most momentous ones. Think of ants building a mound, a house, for themselves, or better yet, a termite. I attended ROTC Officers Candidate School in 1989. At Fort Lewis, I saw termite mounds there, which were literally 15 feet high, forming towers which reached into the sky. Far from being natural formations, these structures were built by insects no bit bigger than the tip of your pinky finger, all of them formed by the collective efforts of each termite picking up a grain of sand and setting up on top of another one, previously placed there by a comrade termite. The small steps you take by studying for this seemingly stupid algebra test in sixth grade will help you understand the next test and the one after that. Never dismiss some task that you are required to do as unimportant. Never give any responsibility anything less than your total attention and dedication. If it's worth doing, it's worth doing well. Read widely and read well. It doesn't matter what you want to become in this life, reading voraciously will enhance your ability to accomplish such. I'm going to list here a number of books which I believe to be critically important reading for you. Please read all of them. Each imparts a valuable lesson about life in general and various facets of the human experience in particular. Everyone in my family is a voracious reader. My mother, my father, myself. Your mother is a reading aficionado. People who don't read are people who don't think, who don't imagine, who don't live. The one thing that separates human from animals is our ability to transmit our experiences through language. Take full advantage of this tool. The advance of technology has made reading infinitely more critical than it has ever been before. This tome I am preparing for you is one such example. Consider how valuable infinite numbers of other tomes will be to you throughout your life. Number one, well, a partial and by no means complete reading list. A. The Holy Bible. Oh boy, your mother is massively into the Bible. I'm not even going to go in that direction. It's a mixed bag. It tries to impart good knowledge, wholesomeness, and there are a lot of good things, but more people have been killed over the Bible than any other work of literature ever. So that's the reason for that, and I am deathly concerned about and against any Jim Jones type of situation. I'll let you look that up and determine exactly what that was. But blindly following the Bible, it's actually blindly following some man who says he's holy is the path to ruin. So you got to read the Bible cover to cover. The dictionary. How can you read well if you don't understand what you're reading? Words are tools of knowledge which you must master to succeed. All of the Robert Greene books. Critical. I've began reading one, The 48 Laws of Power, but there are others. The 33 Strategies of War, The 50th Law, The Art of Seduction, and Mastery. These 5 books are essential and alternately an absolute joy. Trust me. D. Bullfinch Greek Mythology. There's such thing as cultural literacy, and you really need to be aware of exactly what that involves. The complete works of Shakespeare. Yes, all of them, even the sonnets. At least 10 of which you would do well to remember for when you start dating. You need to know that. The Prince by Niccolo Machiavelli. It's basically an early version of Robert Greene's books. The Art of War by Sun Tzu. At least 3 Mark Twain books. Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, Tom Sawyer. Any third book is fine. President Obama's autobiography, particularly relevant since he also grew up without a father present, which I fear may be true of you. I guess that's all I have right here. So much easier to do this in video form. Oh, okay, this is good. Question. Oh, I have questions here that I answered for you. When you were young, were you involved in any kind of political protest, such as for the civil rights movement or against Vietnam? Why or why not? I am 45, so this really doesn't apply, Vietnam, for example, to my era. I was actively involved in the issues of my day. While a student at UNR, I was heavily involved in student politics. I became a student senator in the ASUN, Associated Students of UNR government, and ran for student body president, finishing second in the field of six. Much more on this later. I urge you to become involved in the issues of your day, for you must play an active role in your community at all times. That being said, you must always remember to keep things in perspective. Student politics is important, but when you are in college, high school, etc., your primary objective is to learn. Do not become so hyper-focused on this that you allow your grades to suffer. You cannot, under any circumstances, allow your GPA in elementary, high school, or college drop below a 3.8. You just can't. This is so important that I can't stress this point enough. You're black. That's basically one mark against you in this society. You aren't rich, so that's another. To compensate for such obstacles, you must be inordinately qualified, trained, and prepared to exceed. There's no other alternative, no additional options. You must excel academically in order to thrive in this world. A top-notch education is critical to your success in this highly technological society we live in. Don't be the guy like your father, me, quite frankly, who spends every second of every day of his life regretting that he hadn't done better. In high school, my GPA was a deplorable 2.7. College is infinitely more difficult, and yet, due to my Army training, I was able to earn a 3.7. Later, this dropped down to 3.3 because of my violation, frankly, of many of the things I'm trying to teach you, due to my being too involved and sidetracked with extracurricular activities. Upon reflection, it would have been simple for me to earn a 4.0 in school, had I but taken school far more seriously than I did. My lifelong feeling is that I've always possessed an abundance of raw talent and potential, of which I was aware, but I assumed that destiny or the fates would automatically make such relevant. This is categorically a false assumption. Raw talent is good. It's great even. But to succeed in this world, you must also put in a great deal of effort, work, discipline, sacrifice, and sweat. The only person you can ever truly rely on is yourself. If you forget this, you will always come up short and fail. No God, no spirits, my spirit, nothing can be relied on to save or help you other than yourself. Question number 2. How often do you go over the speed limit? When I was 17, 18, I used to speed all the time. I was fortunate enough not to have some tragedy occur in which I was injured. Nowadays, I'm far more careful and never speed. I urge you not to either. My father, your grandfather, says that you can be the best tennis player, doctor, scientist, actor, whatever in the world, but if you are a bad driver, then none of that matters at all. What good is being the best thoracic surgeon in the world if you have your family in the car, make a stupid mistake, and the end result is that you kill your entire family, including yourself? Skills as a surgeon won't help you much in that eventuality. What does speeding accomplish anyway? Always ask yourself such a question. What is being accomplished if I do this? How will this help me achieve my objective? Thinking in this manner will serve you well. Trust me, it will. Speeding or engaging in any other reckless fashion will only accomplish you or someone else getting killed. Either one will take you down a dark path of doom. Just don't. If you could do any job in the world besides the one you're doing now, what would it be? I am a salesman. I believe a good one. Last week I was number 1 in the company. This actually was a little while before that. Of 100 other salesmen, earning approximately $1,300 that week. Almost double what your mom makes. That being said, I hate my job. I have no benefits whatsoever. If I don't sell anything on any particular day, I go home with nothing. I spend my day getting rejected by people. The other day I made 400 phone calls and made 7 sales. A good day by any standard, but what I do doesn't make me feel particularly worthy. I sell vacations to people and provide for my family. Laudable accomplishments, to be sure, but an utter waste of my talents, I've got to say. Now, everyone in the world is, to one extent or another, a salesman. Many people, including your mother, don't realize this, but it's an absolute fact. You, for example, are a salesman. A good one, I bet. At Christmas, when you want a certain toy, it may be a bicycle or a new smartphone. Do you simply ask one time and let it go, particularly if she is not receptive to your entreaty? Not if you're smart, you won't. What you'll do, if that bike is important to you, is tell her why it's in her best interest for you to get that bike. By telling her it will enable you to do more chores around the house or whatever. That is what selling is. Persuading another person to accept your point of view. Car salesmen do it to prospective clients who walk into the car lot. Suitors do it. I certainly did with your mom. When they are trying to convince a woman to marry them. Hell, presidents do it as candidates to win elections or to convince Congress to pass legislation that they want. People who can't sell are people who are failures in life. So whatever you ultimately decide to do, embrace your secondary mantle of salesman wholeheartedly. To do such, the most important skill for you to develop is empathy, understanding what others are feeling. Secondary to that is the expression of respect for their position. Now, what I'd have preferred and what I hope for you is that you strive to be a leader. The United States of America is the most powerful nation that has ever existed, and as such being the case, leading it as President of the United States would make you, theoretically at least, the most powerful man on earth. I gotta tell you, should you attain such an office, I will be more than exultant. But there are other ways of achieving such power. Research Richelieu during the 18th century, Crassus of ancient Rome. There are many paths to power, and your father was woefully lacking in achieving any of them. I urge you to pick up the baton and succeed where I have failed. I can't tell you how many times I said to myself, if only I knew then what I know now, I would be a god. Well, you won't have that excuse because I am laying out for you right now exactly what is necessary for you to succeed. Want to influence people for years to come? Be a writer, a very good one. Be a computer engineer, like Bill Gates, who is, at this writing, one of the wealthiest men alive. Do something which contributes to civilization. Don't just exist by getting some sales job or being a mid-level manager at some anonymous company. There is a book called The Biographical Encyclopedia. Anyone of any significance or merit is in that book, the vast majority of whom, save for the serial killers, has substantially contributed to society in a positive way which has significantly advanced civilization. Einstein, Da Vinci, Shakespeare, Mozart, after whom you were named, by the way. All were accomplished people of distinction, whom society has benefited from existing. Be one who is immortal, for that is how you will make your parents, certainly me, proud. More importantly, that is how you will reach the self-actualization pinnacle of Maslow's pyramid. I task you, son, with becoming someone special enough for people to remember, millennia after you've passed from this existence. Now, you want to know why you're here? Why you were conceived? Well, bam, there you go. You are by no means and no stretch of the imagination either unplanned or accidental. You were always exclusively a part of my plan. Whatever you decide to do, know that I am looking at you in the hereafter. Right now, as you read these words, I am watching you. My time is short. I seriously doubt I'll make it to Saturday. Like I said, when I did this, it's a miracle that I'm seeing you now. I didn't think I'd make it this far. I have, so. Man, I got a lot of stuff. Okay, no, not so much. I'm finishing up. How would you describe Mom the first time you saw her? Your mother and I met online. She struck me by her profile on the dating site we belonged to as an incredibly beautiful and intelligent woman who'd I'd love to know. We exchanged messages for a couple of weeks and then decided to meet at Starbucks at Mandalay Bay. Let me tell you, your mother is an absolutely incredible woman, and you are so incredibly fortunate to have her as your mother. In virtually every way, I concede her superiority to me. She's far more responsible, reliable, and accomplished than I, to be sure. You'll have to ask her what she ever saw in me to create you. I have my suspicions, but of course that would be pure conjecture. I can tell you that what I see in your mother is everything. I can unequivocally tell you that I love her with all my heart. I see my final decision. And when you are standing on a winner's podium receiving an award amidst loud cheers of throngs, know that one of those voices sounds will be me, beaming with pride at the accomplishments of my only son. I can think of no other tribute which will make me happier. Know this, Elijah. You are my greatest accomplishment. You are. There isn't even a close second. Whatever happens, you gotta know it's not because of my lack of love for you. I really, truly in my heart don't think that I'm going to be around when you're sentient and old enough to have conversations with you. So that's why I'm preparing all of these videotapes. I want you to look at them and be aware of how much I love you, how much you mean to me, and if there's any possible way for me to have made it to be with you, trust that I would. And if I can't, it just wasn't in the cards. It wasn't, unfortunately, meant to be. But that doesn't mean I don't love you. It doesn't. It's your responsibility to take what I'm trying to teach you, to learn. I want you to be an accomplished individual. I want you to be successful. You have to take personal responsibility. You cannot allow yourself to be anything to be an excuse for failure. Excuses are just that. They're excuses. Okay? You can't afford to fail. Period. You cannot fail. Failure is not an option. Okay? I am telling you of my mistakes. I'm admitting what I've done wrong. And I'm trying to give you constructive ways of how to deal with that. Now, my lack of any accomplishment or what I've done may hurt you in many respects. It has, but don't let that be an excuse for you to fail. Don't, because it's not. You cannot fail. You must succeed. Okay, earn this. Your mother has sacrificed. I've sacrificed to bring you in this world. Okay, and we're going to do everything. Your mother will do everything. Your grandmother, both your maternal and paternal grandmothers, will do everything to help you succeed. Okay, you can't focus on frivolous things. You cannot. Okay, you have a duty to me. You have an obligation and a duty to your mother. You have an obligation and duty to society. And most importantly, you have an obligation and duty to yourself to succeed. Okay? Being some doper or just some automaton who has some dink little job and then you just live your life and not contribute to society, that's beneath you. It's beneath you. Okay? You are obligated to have children. You are obligated to succeed. You are obligated to be accomplished. You are obligated to be immortal. Be the best. If you don't want to be president, that's fine. I can deal with that. But be the best. Okay? Make a note. 1,000 years from now, be someone that people look to for example, for inspiration, a person who has advanced society and civilization. That is what you are tasked with. If you do not accomplish that, you have failed. You have failed me, you have failed your mother, and you have failed yourself. don't do it. There is no excuse in this information age of ours. You have every advantage. You have every advantage. Everything that's necessary for you to succeed. Okay? So I don't want to hear your excuses. If I'm not around, I am around. You can look at the pictures of me, you can look at these videos, and you can know that I'm around, I'm watching you. Okay? And I'm totally proud of you. I know you have the ability to do it. You do have the ability to succeed. You do have the ability to get a 4.0. School is simple. It's nothing. It's nothing. Okay? And the resources available to you will ensure that you can do it. You can do anything. You can be anything you want to be. Anything in life. Okay? So succeed, son. You're here because of an act of will on my part. That is why you're here. Okay, I won't go into details, but you can figure it out. You're not an accident. You're here because you're supposed to be here. Because I wanted you to be here. Because it's my destiny to father you. And it's your destiny to succeed and be a great man. I know you can do it. I love you, son. Always know that. And if I'm not there beside you, I'm still watching you. Okay, know that. And to the extent of my power, if there's any ability for me to reach out from the hereafter and to help you in any way I can, trust that I will. Good night, son.